Just 5 days ago, he was still smiling for the cameras, wearing his country's colors, chasing a dream that millions of players never get close to. Today, that same young man is gone, and the woman who loved him most has finally found the strength to speak. This is the heartbreaking story of Jayden Adams, and the words his partner never wanted to write. On July 11th, the football world stopped for a moment. South African midfielder Jayden Adams passed away at just 25 years old. No cause of death was released, and to this day, the exact reason remains unknown. What makes this loss even harder to process is the timing. Jayden had just represented South Africa at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, playing in every single one of his team's group stage matches. He started against Mexico. He started against the Czech Republic. And when South Africa beat South Korea 1-0, a result that sent them into the knockout rounds for the very first time in the nation's history, Jayden was there too, coming off the bench to be part of history. But behind that historic moment was a private tragedy that very few people knew about at the time. The day before South Africa faced the Czech Republic, Jayden's grandmother passed away. He still took the field. He still gave everything he had for his country, carrying grief that most of us can barely imagine, and he was substituted at halftime during that match. South Africa would go on to be eliminated by Canada in the knockout stage, ending their World Cup run. Nobody watching that tournament could have guessed that just weeks later, the football world would be mourning Jayden himself. The news of his death was confirmed by the South African Football Players Union, known as SAFPU, through an official statement. They called it a devastating and untimely loss, describing Jayden as a gifted player and a proud servant of the game, someone whose life still had so much left to give. The tributes didn't stop there. South Africa's Minister of Sport, Gate McKenzie, said the entire nation was mourning alongside Jayden's family, his teammates, and the millions of fans who had watched him rise from a promising young academy talent into a full international star wearing the Bafana Bafana jersey. Even FIFA President Gianni Infantino paid his respects, saying the thoughts of everyone at FIFA and the global football community were with Jayden's family, friends, and teammates. To understand just how much South Africa is grieving right now, you have to understand who Jayden Adams really was. He came through the youth academy at Stellenbosch FC before making the move to Mamelodi Sundowns in January of 2025. At Sundowns, he helped the club win the African Champions League title in the 2025-2026 season, a massive achievement for both the player and the team. On the international stage, Jayden made his debut for South Africa back in 2022 in a match against Mozambique. Over the years that followed, he earned 13 caps for his country, scoring 2 goals, both of them crucial strikes that came during World Cup qualifying matches. In other words, Jayden Adams wasn't just a squad player living on the edges of the team. He was part of the core group that helped carry South African football back onto the world stage. Now, for the first time since his passing, the person closest to Jayden has spoken publicly about her loss. His longtime partner, Aqueelah Adendorf, broke her silence on Instagram, sharing an emotional tribute that has since been seen by fans around the world. In her post, Aqueelah described the pain of losing him as something words simply cannot capture. She thanked him for every memory they built together, for the laughter, the hugs, and every single moment they were lucky enough to share. She called him not just the love of her life, but also her greatest supporter and her closest friend. She wrote that a part of her heart left with him, and that she will carry his love with her forever, promising to miss him every single day until they meet again. What makes this tribute even more emotional is that Aqueelah and Jayden were not just partners, they were parents together. The couple shares a 5-year-old daughter named Aqueelah Jada. In her message, Aqueelah also spoke directly to the outpouring of love from fans and followers, thanking everyone for the kind condolences and messages of support that had been flooding in. She admitted that those messages meant a great deal to both her and her daughter during such an unbearably difficult time, even though she hadn't been able to respond to everyone yet. She asked for patience and understanding as she and her daughter try to navigate life after such a sudden and painful loss. It's a reminder of something we often forget when we watch athletes on television. Behind every jersey, every goal, every World Cup appearance, there is a full human life. There is a partner waiting at home. There is a 5-year-old daughter who will grow up hearing stories about how brave and talented her father was. There is a grandmother's funeral attended just days before a World Cup match, grief carried quietly onto a global stage while millions watched and had no idea what he was going through. Jayden Adams leaves behind a legacy built on resilience. A young man who rose from academy football to continental glory with Mamelodi Sundowns, who wore his country's jersey at a World Cup, and who kept playing even in his darkest personal moments. South African football has lost one of its brightest rising stars, a nation is mourning, and a young family is left trying to make sense of a loss that came far too soon. If this story moved you, take a moment to remember Jayden Adams not just as a footballer, but as a son, a partner, and a father. Rest in peace, Jayden. Your journey on the field may be over, but your story, and the love you leave behind, will not be forgotten.